What do women want in a man? What kind of guy most turns women on? If you've done any searching or any watching on YouTube or in Google, you've likely seen a number of stereotypes that crop up, right? Now and again, you'll see someone say, hey, it's the rock star, be like the rock star guy. Someone else will say, no, be like the bad boy guy. Someone else will say, no, be dark and mysterious. And it can leave a lot of guys thinking, geez, what am I supposed to be? What do women really want in a guy? So today I'm going to use some events and stories from my own personal life to try to explain to you how I see this paradigm of what women are looking for and what kind of man you should be aspiring to be. Keep watching to find out more. When I was a young guy in high school, I made my first long-term girlfriend. Now, quite a large deal of it was luck, and quite a large deal of it was the fact that even though I wasn't a cool kid at school, even though I didn't really have any real talent with women at all, I was very athletic. So I was on the rowing team. I was the head of my particular rowing crew. And so I was at these big rowing parties where all the rowing guys were at. So I had a little bit of cachet, which I could cash in on when I was a young guy. Anyway, I got this first girlfriend and it was a nightmare. It was a shambles. And the reason why it was a nightmare of a relationship was that I was a nice guy. I was too nice. I was always trying to please her, always trying to be there, always trying to do everything. I was a yes man. And I'm guessing that if you're watching this, you know enough to realize that's really a bad strategy. But at the end of this relationship, it left me really scarred. I'd been cheated on. I'd been manipulated. I felt taken for granted. I'd felt walked all over. I was mad. I was angry. In fact, I was angry at women in general. And I reached a point where I'm like, F you world, F you women. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. You started it. And I'm going to do my thing, right? And I was very kind of, there was a lot of anger inside of me at this point. I started to become, really, I fell a lot into the bad boy vibe. I started doing a lot of drugs. I rode a motorbike. I was kind of involved in some kind of more nefarious activities. And I was really playing into that. I'll throw up some photos here, but that's who I was. It was kind of like in the F the world kind of a mindset. And it was interesting because once I got into that headspace, once I was like, F the world, I don't give a damn, I don't give a crap, I started to attract women. Like this was me being literally a bad boy, and women were not flocking to my door or anything because I still wasn't skilled or talented with women. I didn't trust them. I didn't trust myself. But women were interested in me. All of a sudden, I had women demonstrating interest. I got involved in DJing and doing that kind of thing. And I started noticing. I started having this success. It was the first time in my life that I thought, how interesting. By changing who I was, women were suddenly being really interested. And I thought to myself at the time, that's it. This is the kind of man that women want. Women don't want a guy who's going to treat them well. Obviously. Women want a guy who's going to treat them like rubbish. This is the answer. This is how a man is supposed to be with women. But the story doesn't end there. So I kept going on with my life, and I realized that I wasn't happy. I was feeling angry still with the world, and I didn't want that. And I really wanted to be successful, wanted to make something of myself. So I started getting really heavily involved in self-development. And part of my self-development was getting heavily involved in men's work. And men's work is not really about women. It's more about yourself as a man, your masculinity, and how you relate to other men, how you relate to women, how you deal with the dark energy that every man has inside of him, how you relate to your sexuality, all this kind of men's self-development stuff. And I learned a couple of really powerful lessons in this. One of these was that if I don't let go of my anger at women, I was never going to be happy as a man, right? It was constantly controlling or playing a controlling role in my life. And I also learned that if you manipulate and play head games with other people, that's going to damage your self-esteem because that's just the way we're wired. And so I had to let go of that as well. And all of a sudden, without these things going on in my life, without being angry at women and without trying to play head games with them to get them into bed, who was I and what was I to women? But what I was learning to do in this, or how I felt what was happening, was I was starting to become a lot more confident in myself. A lot more confident and a lot more willing to be who I was, but not be angry at women at the same time. So all of a sudden, I started to become more confident. I started to become more cocky. And I realized, because at this point, I was 23, 24 years old, I started to become cocky. That's who I was. I was like confident. I was funny. I was sharp. I was really great at entertaining. The reason being that, I grew up, my mom was a public speaking teacher, so I learned to be an engaging person conversationally growing up. That's just the thing that I learned. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, I could walk into a group of women, of 10 women, I keep them all entertained. I had them all on the hook. I was funny. I was interesting. They could throw like crap at me and I could deal with it, just by being confident and not letting it like control me. I knew what I wanted. I was clear about what I wanted. I was direct with women. I wasn't shy. I wasn't ashamed of my sexuality or any of that stuff. And all of a sudden, bam, like I had women flocking to me in a way that I'd never experienced before. I felt a huge sense of control with women that in my whole life I'd just never been there. And at that point, I thought, wow, no, forget the bad boy. This is what all women want. And it was at that point that I started to slowly get involved in dating coaching and coaching men, and I slowly started to build the School of Attraction. And really, this was my primary form of attracting women for myself for about 5-6 years. 7 years until I was 30. And when I was 30, something else terrible happened. I got really sick. You may have known, I've talked about it before, but my health let go. I got some really bad hormone issues that meant that I was getting really bad heart rate palpitations, and that led to some anxiety stuff because my body was just filled with adrenaline and cortisol and all these stress hormones that I couldn't get rid of. Doctors were stumped. They couldn't work out what was wrong with me. And my life crashed. So the floor fell out of my life. My health was gone. I was stressed. I was anxious. Part of it was just being neurotic about all the health things going on. Part of it was physiological things happening to my body. At that point as well, my relationship at the time started to go on the rocks and we split up for a while. And I was feeling really broken. I was feeling really sad about my life. I still had this big successful company. I still had things going on, but I felt like, everything was shattered. Who I was, my sense of self, the cocky, confident Damien had kind of shifted. And I was aware of the value that I brought as a male, but I felt broken and I felt really sad. And I felt like I didn't know who I was at that point. And it was interesting because being single again, I was out and about and I was attracting women still. But it was curious because the kind of women I was attracting were radically different. I mean, normally speaking, I would attract sassy, strong-willed, intelligent women who would call me on my shit and would give me a hard time, but in a really positive way. And I loved it. And that was the kind of women that I was attracting. But now, all of a sudden, I was attracting women who were in the caring, nurturing fields of work. Like, I wasn't looking for them, but I was attracting women who were nurses and working in hospice care and working with disabled kids and, all just women who are in caring roles. They were carers. So women who were attracted to men that needed help, right? And so it was interesting because I wasn't the cocky, confident guy anymore. I was aware of my value. I hadn't lost all confidence, right? Because then I think I wouldn't attract any women. But I was a very different man. I needed some support emotionally and things. And it was interesting that I was still attracting women, but a very different kind of woman. Anyway, I got back together with my partner after 6-7 months apart. And we developed a really incredible relationship. And you may have noticed from some of my past videos, we're now in an open relationship. But what's so crazy now is that I'm not the cocky, funny guy anymore. I'm not the broken down guy who's in need of care and to help build him back together. I'm a different man again. And who am I now? Well, it's interesting that when I was a younger man, I was always in really incredible shape. So I would go to the gym 6 days a week, have the six pack, the really great muscles everywhere. I could wear clothes that would really show it off. And, it was a part of the feature, right? The good look stuff. Now, I'm 36 years old. I'm not a young guy in the same way anymore, but I'm still attracting women very effectively, but in a different way. So the compliments I'm getting and the kinds of women I'm attracting are slightly different. And so what are women like? What am I capitalizing on now? So now what women say to me all the time is, gee, Damien, you're so confident. You're so, intelligent. Your intelligence, your insight, your ability to read me as a woman and understand me is just incredible. Like, it's so sexy, right? These are the compliments that I'm getting a lot from women, like consistently, not just once or twice, but I've had it like 7, 8, 9, 10 times in the last month and a half. And so that's what's defining me now as a man. These are my attractive features. And so what's the learning why am I telling these stories? Why am I trying to impress you? I can attract women in these different ways? No, I don't care about that. Why I'm telling you this is because even one man going through different phases in his life, you realize that there's not just one way to be attractive to women. You don't just have to be cocky funny. You don't just have to be the intelligent older man who's got really great insight. You don't just have to be, the broken bad boy who needs support. There's lots of different things you can be, that you can be attractive to women. If I met a dating coach now who wanted to teach me to be cocky and over the top and funny and all that stuff, I'd say, that's not me. It doesn't work for me. That's not my personality. That's not who I am right now. And I think that's the really critical thing. I think you need to understand that, first and foremost, you need to be aware of the value. If you don't believe you're bringing value to women of some description, right? If you're not aware of what you're bringing to the table, that can at least or more exceed her looks, then you're not going to be attractive to women. You need to believe that you're the prize. And not in that arrogant way, like, yeah, bitch, you need to bring something to the table because I'm all this. You're not trying to do that. I just mean, be aware. Like, even when I had my health stuff, I knew that I had built this really great company. I knew that I still had a lot of interesting stuff in my head. I knew that there was insight that I could bring. I knew that, I just knew that I had value, right? I knew that I had a life that still was interesting for women to be around, that I could add to their lives and leave them better off than I found them. Now I'm acutely aware of that from an intelligent intellect, like life insight point of view as well. I'm never going to meet a woman, I don't care what age she is, I don't care if she's a 10 out of 10 model who's 23 years old, I'll never feel like she's got something on me. I'm always going to feel like, well, I've got so much to offer. Right? I'm never going to feel like I'm at a lack of things to give. And so long as you feel that, so long as you are aware, and if you're not aware of anything you have to offer, work on your life first, right? Start building a lifestyle for yourself that you love, that you're proud of, and then bring that to women. But never feel like you have to be a certain stereotype, because too many dating coaches online these days are telling you, be like me, I'm cocky funny, I do the rock star thing, I'm the magician entertainer, I'm this, I'm that. Too many guys say that stuff, and it's not real. I mean, you can be like that. If that's you, that's your personality, it will work so long as you're aware of the value that you bring. There are many different personalities that women are attracted to, and you don't just have to look at my life or my clients' lives. You can look in the media as well, and you'll notice there are different stereotypes of men that women find attractive, right? You've got the James Bond, the strong silent type, you've got the rock star, you've got the like damaged silent type, like think Edward from the Twilight series, right? He's kind of damaged and sad and dour. Like when I first saw it, I couldn't understand what women saw in him. But anyway, that's another matter, right? There's all these different kinds. There's the nerd. There's like the sexy nerd, not like the nerd who has no idea what to do and is going to be super awkward. I just mean the confident nerd. There's all these things that women can find attractive, and your job, my job as a coach, but your job as a learner, as a student of attraction, is to learn what are the features that I have that I need to bring to the surface that can be attractive to women. And maybe there's different parts of you that can be very attractive to women, but work on those. Don't try to pretend to be someone you're not. It's never going to work very well. I've seen guys try to do that. They try to mimic a certain style of attracting women, and if it's not their personality, women are always going to see through it. It's always going to feel fake, and it's always going to feel insincere. So that's what women are looking for. They want to feel a man who knows what he has to offer, who's confident in that and not insecure or like narcissistic in that. And a man who can talk and isn't afraid to go for what he wants. They want these things, yes. But personality-wise, when it comes to the other stuff, the sky's the limit. Work out what it is about you. Look at different stereotypes of men that can be attractive, find what works for you and go with that. And that is going to work for you far better than just copying someone else. Now, if you're still trying to work out your personality and what it is about you that's attractive to women, what I highly recommend you do is check out my free dating personality test, which you can see in the link up here. I recommend you check it out right now. Basically, it's going to look at 16 different parts of your personality, and it's going to pretty much tell you, based on your personality profile, these are your strengths and these are your weaknesses with women. These are things about you that are going to be attractive. These are the things about you that we're going to require a little bit of work. Knowing your personality profile and how it applies to women can be super useful when trying to work out what is it about me that I need to bring to the surface to attract women. Go ahead and check that out right now. I'll put that link up there. For the rest, guys, how has this resonated with you? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always interested to hear what your thoughts and feelings are. If you disagree, if you agree, if you had very similar experiences to me attracting different women at different parts of your life, I'd love to hear about it. For the rest, guys, if you've liked my video, give me a thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to my channel by clicking the link over here. If you want to see more videos like this, I definitely recommend you check some of the other videos in the link over there. Check it out right now. Don't waste any time. Get stuck in. learning is kind of one of the funnest parts of life. I'm Damien. Have a fantastic week, and I look forward to seeing you in my future videos. Take care.